Hello, I'm the Greek Geek because I'm 50% Greek and 100% a geek. Well, now with One Punch Man Season 2 finished, now's the perfect time to talk about Season 1. 1 month after Season 2 is finished. The main character, Saitama, is a bald man. What did you say? That got so strong that he can defeat any enemy in one punch. Well, not any enemy. So if you're new to my channel, I do cover a lot of reviews like this that cover anime, TV shows, and movies in the superhero genres, like this one, and science fiction, fantasy, and monsters. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Moving on with the review. He's a hero for fun, and he's always looking for a good fight. He is having a crisis because he can't find a foe that he can defeat in more than one punch. And it's driving him mad because he wants to feel something and feel the excitement of a good fight, but he can't get it. And he doesn't really take things seriously other than bargain sales. Bargain day at the supermarket! Jenos is a cyborg that finds Saitama and becomes his disciple. He is the complete opposite of Saitama. He's very serious and he's always working on trying to get stronger. He is also the best waifu. Honestly, there are so many characters that are introduced in this season. I couldn't mention all my favorites. A few of my favorites are Puri Puri Prisoner, Silver Fang, Deep Sea King, and Moomin Rider. So I like most of the characters, but I do have a complaint that there is no real kind of central villain. I don't think there's really meant to be in this season anyway, because Saitama beats everyone in one punch pretty much anyway. So there really can't be a central villain. And there are a lot of villains that I like, that are introduced, like Dr. Jenos, Deep Sea King, and Lord Boros and his minions. I really enjoyed them, but they don't last any longer than 1 or 2 episodes, so we don't really get to see them that much. And as I said, they get defeated quite quickly, and I would have liked to have seen more of them. But I guess the main point is that Saitama just kind of churns through all these villains easily. So the theme of this anime is to kind of subvert the shonen hero trope that's in a lot of shonen anime and manga. For those of you that don't know, the shonen hero is like not a particularly strong person, and they're always working on getting stronger to become the most powerful that they can be. They're not always the most intelligent, but they always work hard to achieve their goals. And they usually have a very strong sense of justice as well. That's the basic kind of outline anyway. Now, Saitama, he is already the most powerful person in the anime, so he doesn't have to train or anything to get any more powerful than what he is. He doesn't have to grow in power, he just has to kind of grow as a person. He's not particularly intelligent either, so he kind of keeps that kind of trope with the shonen hero. There's no one that he's really trying to defeat, he's just trying to find a foe that will give him enough of a fight instead of just being defeated in one punch. And he doesn't really have a strong sense of justice either. He's not trying to always do the right thing. He's just trying to be a superhero for fun and try and get famous along the way, I guess.
I'm just a guy who's a hero for fun.
This anime introduces a very interesting world. I like the world that they've introduced. They have an interesting class system for the heroes and the villains. The villains and monsters have different rankings based on their threat level, like Tiger, Dragon, and Demon. And the heroes are broken up into different classes, like Class S, A, B, and C. And they have different ranks within those different classes. And a lot of people kind of obsess over that kind of thing. And it's very, very interesting to see the dynamics between the different classes and different characters. And the world is basically just one giant supercontinent, like Pangea, I guess. And it's just filled with all these different cities and districts, like City Z and all different ones. And there's constantly monsters and villains attacking these cities, and heroes have to try and stop them all the time. And so that will create a lot of opportunities for a lot of fights to happen. Nice catch! Now, the action is very fun in this show because Saitama beats most of his foes within one punch. So that doesn't sound very interesting, but we have a lot of the other heroes and villains fighting each other first. So there's a lot more drawn out fights between different characters, and then usually Saitama shows up and then defeats the foe. It's kind of like Goku, I guess. But even the fights between Saitama and these other villains and monsters is interesting because the monster or hero will usually go to some kind of overpowered form that makes them seem so intimidating and unbeatable, and Saitama will just beat him in one punch usually. There are some foes that he doesn't take very seriously, like Speeder Sound Sonic, who's apparently so fast that no one can defeat him, but Saitama is constantly blocking his attacks and dodging his attacks, and he just is unfazed by him. Some of my favourite fights in this season is the S-Class heroes fighting Melgazard, and Jenos and the other heroes, not just Class S heroes, fighting the Deep Sea King, and finally the last fight in the season, Saitama versus Lord Boros. That's a very interesting fight as well, and it goes so over the top, it's something you would see in Dragon Ball Z. Complete with transformations.
This set of armor, which was used to seal in my immeasurable, irresistible power, has now been broken.
Okay.
The soundtrack is great in this show as well. It has a lot of rock-inspired themes. The opening theme, which is called "The Hero Set Fire to the Furious Fist." The song is as badass as it sounds, and it always gets me hyped up for a new episode. There are so many great themes in the soundtrack. Like, one of my favorites is the Cyborg Fights, which is kind of like Genosis's fight theme, I guess, and Dark Energy, which plays when Saitama is fighting Lord Boros. Those are two of my favorite themes out of the soundtrack. And I'll put a link in the description down below for the intro and those two themes, so you can listen to them yourself and you might like them like I do. The animation for this show is top-notch. Like, it's kind of hard to describe. It's just very good. Like, animation quality has been increasing a lot over the years in both like cartoons and anime and all that kind of media. I like the stylistic look of this. Everything is bright and colorful. The animation is great and particularly smooth during a lot of the fight scenes, particularly during when Saitama has his sparring match with Jenos. A lot of that is very fluid and runs very well and just looks spectacular.
It looks like I win.
What I liked had fantastic characters and villains and monsters, very interesting designs. The animation was great. The fight scenes were great as well. It's an interesting subversion on the shonen hero trope, and the soundtrack is great, and the whole show is great in general. As for things I didn't really like, it feels too short, and I do kind of wish that there was more of a central villain that we could focus on, as opposed to lots and lots of little ones, but that's how the show was meant to be, I think, so I can't complain about it too much. So if you like superhero anime or just superheroes in general, which I hear is quite popular nowadays, I think that you will love this show. This anime has grown a lot in popularity, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who haven't seen it, and I highly recommend that you do check it out if you haven't. It's great. There's both a sub and a dub, so if you prefer just to hear it in English, the dub is pretty great as well. The voice acting is fine. And the sub as well, if you don't mind listening in Japanese and reading subtitles, you got that as well. As always, thank you for listening to me ramble on about a TV show or movie. Well, anime in this instance. I really do appreciate it. Thank you again, and I'll catch you next time.